Alright, this video is intended to help you approach word problems that involve systems of equations. And I have 3 different ACT problems here that are involving this topic, and this is your advanced topic, so you'll be quizzed on this. And let's go through the first one as a first step. So let's read it aloud first. Juan needed 2 cables of different lengths for his home audio speakers. He purchased a total of 39 feet of cable. The longer piece of cable is 39 feet longer than the shorter piece. And we want to know what is the length of the longer piece of cable. So, the 2 variables that we're dealing with here, the 2 things we don't know, are the longer piece of cable and the shorter cable. Now if you want, you can use variables that are other than x or y, like L for longer and S for shorter. Just be careful with your S's, because sometimes those look like 5s. I tend to avoid S's. Alright, now we're going to write equations that come from the word problem here. So if we know that there's a total of 39 feet of cable, that is the sum of the 2 cables. So that means x plus y equals 39. And then the longer piece of cable is 9 feet longer, so the longer piece is, or equals, 9 feet longer than the shorter cable. So the shorter cable plus 9. Okay, now if we want to solve this, we're going to go ahead and we're going to solve the system of equation. Now it makes more sense to use substitution here because we know what x is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to substitute that in for x. So I'm going to have y plus 9 plus y equals 39, and that comes from that equation, and with this x. And then I'm going to solve. So I've got 2y plus 9 equals 39. Subtract 9. 2y equals 30. Y equals 15. So we know that the shorter cable is 15 feet. So that means that the longer cable, or x, must be 15 plus 9, which is 24 feet long. So that's how you would solve that one. Now, you could do this with the guess and check method, but that would probably end up taking longer unless you're a really good guesser. Okay, let's move on. A plumber's total charge includes a fixed service charge plus an hourly rate, so fixed service charge plus an hourly rate for the job. If the total charge, so if we think about what that means, fixed service rate, so fixed service rate, that's going to be paid once, plus an hourly fee, so hourly fee, okay, x equals y, and this, so this is the fixed rate, this is the hourly fee, that's the number of hours, and here I'll call this something else. I'm going to call this cost. Okay, so if the total charge is 140 hours for a 3-hour job, so the cost is the charge, or charge. So $140 for a 3-hour job, so that's 3 times h. Okay, and $200 for a 5-hour job. What is the total charge for an 8-hour job? So in order to figure this out, we need to know what F and H are. And excuse me while I make some room here. Okay. Alright, so if we want to find out what our fee and what our hourly rate are, we need to solve this equation. Probably the easiest way is going to be to eliminate. So I'm going to multiply by -1. And what that's going to do is that's going to make this negative, and this negative. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to eliminate. So here this eliminates, and we've got -2h equals -60. So h equals 30. So that means we've got a $30 hourly fee. And then if we want to figure out what the fixed service charge is, we're going to plug that back into one of the equations. So F plus 3 times 30 equals 140. F plus 90 equals 140. F is going to then equal 50. So the fixed service charge is $50. So for an 8-hour job, and I'm going to erase some of this, so we know that our fixed charge is $50 and our hourly rate is 30. Okay, so for an 8-hour job, that's going to be 30 times 8 plus 50, which is going to be, let me pull out my calculator, 30 times 8 is going to be 240 plus 50, which is $290. Okay, sorry I couldn't leave all my work up. I had to have room. Alright, last type of problem. Get rid of this. Alright, this is a really common one that you'll see on the ACT year after year, at least every other year. And it's not always these words, but sometimes it's, you know, concert tickets, sometimes it's the number of the adults, number of children. In this case, we've got a fundraiser, and we've got popcorn and caramel, so that's going to be our two. P for popcorn, okay, regular popcorn, C for caramel. Okay, $5 each for these. Okay, so those are $5 each, and those are $8 each. Altogether, they sold 160 boxes. So that means the number of, this is number of popcorn, number of regular popcorn. So that means the number of regular popcorn plus the number of caramel they sold is 160. And then they earned a total of $1,100. So $5 each for the regular popcorn plus $8 each for the caramel popcorn equals 1,100. Okay, that gives us our total. Now, if we want to go ahead and use either elimination or substitution, probably substitution's easier. So we've got P equals 160 minus C. Okay, so then we can go ahead and do 5 times 160 minus C plus 8C equals 1,100. And since we're solving for how many boxes of caramel popcorn, this is a good way to go because we'll end up with C. Okay, so let me erase some of this up here. It's not going to let me. Alright, so 5 times 160 That's 800 plus 8c equals 1100. Okay, so that's going to be subtract 800, so that's 8c equals 1100 minus 800, which is 300. Divide by 8, and you get 37.5. So if this is an ACT, you're going to either round that up or round it down depending on what you're asked for. But this is going to end up being, we'll call it 38 boxes. Alright, and that is it. I apologize, I realized I made a mistake here, so I'm going to come back and I'm going to fix it. So here we had what should have been 800 minus 5c. Okay, so we should have had 3c here, which would have given us, instead of 37.5, we would have had 100 and then 100 boxes. If I hadn't been so far in the video, I would have started over, but just goes to show you that it's really easy to make this mistake. Make sure you distribute that 5 all the way in, and that's how you do that problem.